Good evening there, and welcome to our latest Elite FPL podcast. We're going to be previewing Gameweek 30, and I'm here with my good friends Steve-O and Jason. How are we tonight, chaps?
Good evening, everybody.
Dan. Good evening, Jason, everybody.
Good. So, if you joined us in the chat, please do say hello. Let us know your plans for this game week ahead. Plenty to talk about. We're going to be making our predictions for the game week ahead. We're also going to be talking about our own team selections and dilemmas, and also focusing on our captains. So, Steve-O, should we launch straight into the predictions for the game week ahead?
Well, before I launch into the predictions for the game week ahead, for anybody that doesn't know, it was Jason's birthday yesterday. So I think for myself, Dan, and everybody in the community, happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Yeah, he had a surprise birthday meal yesterday, and that's why we couldn't do the podcast. But I think the birthday's more important than this. So yes, like I said, happy birthday! But yeah, let's.
22 years old.
22. Yeah, what age?
Yeah.
Let's Jason introduce his normal line of let's see who's in the chat. So Jason, who's in the chat? Who's there at the moment, mate?
Yeah, we've got a lot of the usual suspects. We've got Simon Bellamy, Sultan Saeed. We've got a couple of questions for you, Steve-O. Not sure if you're going to be wanting to answer them just yet, though. We've got Brett Mollison, Mick Lee, Nick Reed, FPL Boone is in chat. Brett Mollison, I think I've just said his name. Clement LaRue is in chat. Kelwy's back. Kelwy76, hello to you. And Pete Smith as well is in the chat. Hope you enjoyed your 40th birthday, mate. Cheers, Pete. Appreciate that. But yeah, thanks for the birthday messages, and good evening, everybody. We're one day away from another pivotal. We're approaching the final straight now, aren't we? In terms of FPL for this season, and there's a lot of points to be gained from using chips to blank game week, double game weeks ahead of us. It's exciting. It's an exciting time to be an FPL manager. I would say in the top 200k, you've got a good chance to finish a respectable rank. So Dan, that includes you because you are in the top 200k.
So inclusive.
So yeah, just about. You're just about. But yeah,
top 91.
Could be worse. You could have watched Arsenal. Oh, you did. You actually did watch Arsenal. Anyway, just want to say before anything else that I had an early birthday present. Obviously United versus PSG. And that was just unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is just on this, just a massive tidal wave of renovation at Old Trafford at the moment. It seems to be just turning everything around and making like bang average players like, dare I say it, McTominay look like actually pretty decent centre midfielders. But anyway, should we just move on to FPL?
Yeah, Jason, I didn't realise it was the United Elite FPL podcast.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. No, fair enough. It's all right. We can all jump on the Kaku, the bandwagon that's going to come in the next few game weeks. So, okay, start Bellamy. I'm not even going to answer that. So, Steve-O, do you want to talk us through the predictions for Game Week 30?
Yeah, so anybody new to this podcast, we obviously predict the scores for the upcoming fixtures. We do a point system. When the three of us are playing together, we kind of go against each other. So you get 3 points for the absolute spot-on outcome. You get 2 points if you get within a goal of the game. So if it ends 2-1 and you predicted 1-1, you get an extra point for that as an example. And if you just get the outcome right, you get 1 single point. Last time we did this, me and Dan got 8 out of 10 outcomes correct. Me and Dan do really, really well at this predictions. I highly recommend listening to what we've got to say. I think this week's actually quite difficult to predict when I was actually personally going through it myself. I also want to add to what Jason said, which is, for me personally, I think this particular game week is pinnacle going into blank game week 31, because as people that are regular watchers of this know, I don't think this blank game week is worth all the hassle over. I actually think it's the following double game week 32 that's more going to be pivotal to everything. But this particular game week is going to, I think for me personally, is going to kind of give me a clear idea of where I'm going to be going with my double game week assets. But we're going to go on to that later. So let's just crack on with the predictions. Start off with a really, really tough game. It's the 12:30 kickoff. It's Crystal Palace versus Brighton. I think Crystal Palace are going to edge this. Their home record is terrible, but just based on their recent form, I'm going to go with them edging it 2-1. What do you think, Dan?
Yes, I think Zaha is certainly a player to watch at the moment. Been doing very well, as I alluded to in our previous podcast. Been doing very well. I think Palace will be strong. Brighton's away form this season has been pretty patchy. I'm going to go 3-1 to Palace.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
God, 3-1.
Holding back.
What do you think, Jason?
I think Zaha's going to do well in this game. I think it's going to be a 2-0 to Palace.
We're all going for a Palace victory. In fact, adding to what Dan said about Zaha, in his last 4 appearances, he's scored 4 goals. So, yeah, and he even got a double against Leicester. Although, funny enough, looking at it here, the last 3 goals he scored, so 2 against Leicester and 1 against us, were both away from home. So maybe, in fact, the one he scored against Southampton was away from home. So it looks like Zaha may be more of a away player than a home player. But that aside, on to what I think should be a comfortable victory to West Ham. Although, again, their away form isn't that great. Although they're up against Cardiff, and I just think Cardiff are resigned to being relegated now. I don't know what it is, but I just think they've just given up. They've lost Sol Bamba. He's now out for the season. So my player that served me, well, for 1 match and did so well, he's not available anymore. I think West Ham will come out of this. They can never keep a clean sheet apart from last week. And yeah, I'm going to go with a 3-1 victory to West Ham.
Yeah, Cardiff had a good spell at one point in the season, but they seem to have kind of run flat now the last few games. Few poor results, obviously getting smashed by Watford, amongst other results. But yeah, West Ham have got to get an away win, beat Newcastle in the last game. I've got a dilemma about Anderson, whether to keep him in or not. I'm going to go 2-0 to West Ham, finally to keep a clean sheet. Fabianski will get the points.
Excellent. And you, Jason?
Oh yeah, I mean, you got to think that West Ham have, with their attacking options, that they could score a goal or 2 in this game. And will Arnautovic play a major part in this game? Will Hernandez and Arnautovic play together? There's kind of a bit of cryptic talks at the moment from the manager. I've known a lot of FPL managers being like quite possessive over Arnautovic and getting him in, because when he's on fire, he really does perform well. And I think that this is a game that he could easily get a goal or an assist in. I'm thinking West Ham victory, but I think it's going to be 2-1 to West Ham.
Well, now moving on to every single podcast on the planet is going on about Bournemouth keeping clean sheets. Everybody calm down. Don't worry about them. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to keep a clean sheet away at Huddersfield. I think Bournemouth should win. I mean, if they don't win here, then Eddie Howe has seriously got to look at what's going on regarding their away record, because, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, their away record is something like they haven't won in 10 matches or something like that?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, we've had some troubling results recently.
Yeah, I think Huddersfield will just get, even though, again, this is why I hate Huddersfield, because they can't score yet. They'll score against Man United for my Lindelof differential, but I've got to let that go. But yeah, I just think that Huddersfield will score here, but I think Bournemouth will just edge out. I'm going to go 2-1 to Bournemouth, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, Bournemouth had a bit of a tricky spell. Brooks seems to be back fit and in contention to start. I think 2-1 to Bournemouth. Yeah, I think it'll be a tighter game than most people expect, but they'll just edge it.
Yeah. You, Jason?
I think Bournemouth will win, but I think it'll be a tight game. I'm going to go with 1-0 to Bournemouth.
A 1-1 was that?
1-0 to Bournemouth.
Now then, on to what could be potentially a really good. And I know the Bellamy brothers watch this with intrigue, and despite me slating Jamie Vardy, so to speak, I think he could be an excellent captaincy choice this weekend. I know everybody's going to be either Captain Maguire or Salah or Mane. Jamie Vardy up against Fulham could do something here. Although my prediction is suggesting something different, but Jamie Vardy could get both goals here. But I think, again, Leicester will just nick this 2-1. But, yeah, Jamie Vardy to be captained, certainly there. Dan, what do you reckon?
Very tempted to get Vardy in. In fact, before this podcast started, I was looking at getting Vardy in, and I was like, hold on, watch the podcast. But we'll not watch the podcast. Do the podcast first, then do the transfers. I'm going to go 2-0 to Leicester, and I want to see Pereira get me some bloody points. I'm sick of it now. What about you,
Jason? Yeah, I'm also a Pereira, and it'd be nice for him to get some points. I'm with you on that one. I have actually got 2 transfers I'm contemplating to make. Well, maybe just the one and then the other one next week. But one of them involves Bennett to David Luiz or Bennett to Robertson, depending on who else I bring in. The other one was Jimenez to Vardy. And before the podcast, I was thinking I'm going to wait until after the podcast, or I'm going to wait because it's not been an exciting amount. There's not been a great deal of news in the press conferences, and it's actually like quite a boring week in terms of drama, in terms of player injuries and that. Everyone seems to be fit, so Vardy for me. I feel going forward with Brendan Rodgers. I just think that Leicester have got this opportunity now to really start pulling together and starting pulling some results. And against Fulham, a team that their defence has not looked solid all season. It's at the King Power. I can see 2-3 goals for Leicester. I'm going to go with 3-1 to Leicester with Jamie Vardy to get in on at least 2 of them. So I think anyone getting in Vardy should be quietly confident, and I'm certainly very tempted to get him in myself.
Sorry, what was the result there, Jason?
3-1 to Leicester.
And what did you say, Dan? Sorry.
I said a 2-0 to Leicester City. How's it think that?
just so people are wondering what I'm doing, I'm when the chat's kind of going on, I'm looking at my screen in front of me, and I'm just basically playing around with transfers. And Dan, please correct me if I'm wrong, but after blank game week 31, which starts on the 16th of March, we've got. Is there an international break after that? Do you two know?
Yeah, there is.
There is an international break. Right, okay.
It's qualified. Yeah.
Cool.
The Premier League.
Okay. So on to the next game, Newcastle versus Everton. I think all these flaming Almiron fan club cheerleaders are going to be disappointed again. All this faith in one player that's done absolutely nothing apart from these underlining statistics. But anyway, that aside, I think Everton are going to continue their good form at the moment. And I think they're going to beat Newcastle in a very tight game here. I'm going to go 1-0 to Everton.
Yeah, it should be interesting. The Almiron fan club, which I'm sort of stepping in and stepping out of. I've still got my man Rondon in there, hoping he can do something. Everton. It's cup. I'm going to go 1-1.
Oh, same as Clement LaRue. FPL Booner in chats predicting 4-4. I'll take that with a Rondon hat trick. Absolutely. Rondon hat trick, and then Steve will be he'll be literally fuming. It'll be like a rant that you've never seen before in Elite FPL podcast history if Rondon was to do that. I'll tell you that much. I'm gonna go with the Newcastle win on this. I don't know why, but something about Newcastle. I like the look of Newcastle of recent, and Benitez seems to be doing a pretty decent job at steadying the ship. And I think that Almiron is obviously it's a bit early, but he does add a little bit of energy to that midfield, a little bit of flair. Obviously Rondon didn't get service last week, but this week I'm hoping that he does get some service because I think he is a quality striker. I know it's an Everton. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I like it, Mick. I'm gonna go with Mick Lee on this. I'm gonna go 2-0 to Newcastle.
Wow.
Okay. As a Burnley fan, I do not like that at all. But on to what's going to be a massive decision for me when it comes to transfers. I've kind of regretted now not doing it last week, which is getting rid of Son. I've lost $1 million on him, 0.1 already. And they're up against Southampton next. And I was looking at the history between these two teams over the last 6 fixtures. It's been quite tight between these two. And I'm going to continue this. I was thinking 2-0. I'm going to go 2-1 because Spurs keeping clean sheets this season is quite rare. Despite the other day against Borussia Dortmund, but whatever. Yeah, I'm going to go with 2-1, but this is really Son's last redemption for me because I'm kind of a bit worried at the fact that he's not been performing since Kane, ironically, since Kane's return, when, of course, beforehand, when he was playing with Kane, he was doing so well. What are you thinking, Dan, on Southampton versus Spurs? I'm going 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, Southampton have had some good results at home over the last couple of months, and Spurs had a good win. Well, obviously a very good win away to Borussia Dortmund. Son did have a chance in that game, a one-on-one, missed it, looked a bit, not on his normal predatory form. It's a tough one. But yeah, I think Spurs will do a professional job. They want to stay in the top 4. I'm going to go 2-0 to Tottenham.
And you, Jason?
Southampton. What Southampton team is going to come up? What's going to come out of the tunnel against Spurs? I'm going to go with a tight game on this. I don't think there's going to be many goals in it. Maybe just the 1 goal. And I'm going to go with a shock defeat for Spurs. I'm going to go Southampton 1, Spurs 0.
Wow.
Oh, no. Okay. Of course.
How much birthday cake did you have?
Say again?
How much birthday cake did you have, or birthday drink?
Well, obviously, it's got no effect on my my predictions. But I just think that Southampton under the new manager, Hasenhüttl, his name, isn't it? I can't remember his name. Hasenhüttl. Yeah, I just think that they can pull it off. I do. I just think that and Spurs haven't been looking. Well, okay, they won in the Champions League, but I mean that's no biggie. Let's be honest. Let's see. Anyway, I'm just going to go different to the crowd. I'm going to go 1-0 Southampton.
Now then, on to the biggest talking point regarding match-wise this season. Man City versus what? Will Aguero start? Will Jesus start? Will this player start? Will that player start? What will the score be? Will it be 8? Will it be 9? Will it be 10? I do think Man City should win this quite comfortably, but I just think that it's something that you do have to look into is something that's been a regular theme, which is when Fernandinho doesn't play, Man City seem to struggle. And over the last few games, while he's not been there, Man City have been winning, but they haven't been doing it. They've done it convincingly, but they haven't got the goals to show for it. And I think they'll do it this time. There's something deep inside me thinking that they'll repeat what Liverpool did, 5-0. I'm going a goal less and 1 goal for Watford. I'm going 4-1. And to be honest with you, I think Aguero is probably the best captaincy choice. I looked at his goal record versus Watford. It's pretty solid. So, yeah, Dan, are you confident for Man City destroying Watford here?
Yeah, I mean, Watford obviously had that 5-0 away defeat to Liverpool. Man City going for the title, really coming strong now. They're getting the 1-0 wins, they're chipping away, getting the results. And as you say, Aguero does have a really good record against Watford. I know they won 6-0, was it, the season just gone, on the season before that. Aguero was in on the act then. So I think I'm going to go 4-1 to Man City. Like I said, without Fernandinho, it kind of exposes them a bit at the back. But yeah, I'm going to go 4-1 to the Blues.
Jason, of course, you've got Sterling in this particular picture. It starts. You confident you'll do something in this game, in a high-scoring game, or do you think it's going to be low-scoring like the last two?
That's a very, very good question. I've not put too much thought into this fixture, really. There's people in chat that are all going for a City win by a comfortable margin. Ray Joyce is saying all 4 goals to Sterling. Doubt Aguero starts. This is another one with Aguero. It's like, obviously Jesus is now vying for for minutes, and Aguero has played a lot of matches and a lot of game time as of late. It would be just like Pep Guardiola to just sit Aguero out for this fixture, and it wouldn't surprise me, and kind of makes me feel a little bit weird. I'm a little bit apprehensive not owning Aguero, because I know that he can explode at any time, and he's got really high ceiling. If he plays 2/3 of a game, he's gonna he could easily pull out a hat trick, which he's done on multiple occasions this year so far. But yeah, Sterling I think will play this game, yeah, I think it's gonna be a thriller, this game. I think it's gonna be 4 or 5 goals. I can't really see Watford getting out of their own half, to be honest with you. I think they're going to be penned in, and failing a Man City calamity, I can't see them scoring. So I'm going to go with 5-0 to Man City. Goals from various different outlets. Bernardo Silva probably. He's just an absolute joy to watch. David Silva. Aguero's going to probably come on and score, isn't he? Or play. So, yeah, I think anyone that's owning a Man City asset is going to be confident going into this game. Sterling's definitely an option for me to captain.
Now then, we can now discuss our teams coming into on the Sunday fixtures, and the game at 12 o'clock is Liverpool playing my guys Burnley.
It's actually 11:30.
Huh?
Starts at 11:30.
The match kick.
Yeah.
Midday, isn't it? 12 o'clock.
It's 12 o'clock here.
11:30.
So I don't think of the coverage.
11:30.
11:30. I've never known a Premier League game kick off at 11:30.
I'm pretty sure it is, but oh well. Just in case.
People in the chat want to correct Dan wrong, or correct me and Jason wrong, but as I'm looking at it right here, it says 12 o'clock, and I can't. Anyway, whatever kickoff it is, it has no relevance to the outcome of the game. I think that this is going to go one of two ways. Liverpool are either going to destroy us, or it's going to be a tight game. It'll be one of the two. And I've gone 2-0 to Liverpool. Our record in the last 6 versus Liverpool at Anfield has actually been quite solid. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute we'd won a game there, or we've had a draw. A couple of 1-0s. Yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 again, because I don't own Salah. It's the usual thing of I'll be hiding behind a sofa. Yeah, Liverpool will win this. And I'll tell you what, I have been legitimately thinking of captaining either Robertson or Trent Alexander-Arnold. Every single week I keep saying Robertson at home seems to average approximately 9 points a game. And against us, Trent Alexander-Arnold. It looks like a guaranteed clean sheet. Yeah, the thought process is genuinely there. So I'm going to go 2-0. Dan, what do you think on Liverpool versus Burnley?
Yeah, I mean, I think Burnley will sit deep, part of the bus, so to speak, and soak up the pressure. Liverpool, yeah, they should win at, or sort of edge the game somewhat. But I think it's going to be tighter than people think it will be. Like you're saying, I reckon 1-0 to Liverpool. It's going to be one of those games.
So the most popular captain could be, well, I haven't looked at any polls recently. So you guys might be able to correct me, but
I'll have a look now.
Overall, Salah's going to be the most captain, I would imagine. Aguero, close second. Now Salah, it's that debate now about Salah. A lot of actually saying that Salah's like one of the most transferred out players, isn't he?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
He is.
Really?
Yeah. He was wasn't he transferred out by tens of thousands of managers?
Yes, he was. Yeah, he's transferred out by 100. Sure, I'll just quickly look now. I'll bring it up right now. He has been transferred out by, and of course, on the next page, the highest at this week, the highest transferred out player is Aubameyang. So Salah this week has been transferred out by 67,000. Aubameyang, just to let you know, has been transferred out by 136,000.
Wow, a lot of upset Aubameyang owners.
And
I'm glad I got on before that.
And to add to what you were saying, on a very popular forum site, Aguero is leading it by literally 200 votes.
200 votes.
So they're not much ahead of Salah.
Right. Okay. So they're almost neck and neck then, Salah and Aguero. Now, when are we going to see the real Mohamed Salah? Because he's had the chances, but he's just not finishing, and everything in me is saying that he's going to start to finish these chances and he's going to score big. But each game week as it passes, I get more and more frustrated, and it's a bit like what happened earlier on in the season where we had that real off patch before getting a few penalties, a few tap-ins, and yeah, a lot of people transferred him out, gone with Mane, gone with the double up with Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think that this is a key game. I mean, he's going to be involved in the blank game week. Am I thinking of captaining him? I don't know. I think I might go Sterling over him. I haven't decided yet. Hey, I might even get Vardy in and captain him and go with your advice. Who knows, Steve-o? But I think Liverpool will win this game. I think you're right. I don't think Burnley are going to open up the floodgates, and I don't think it's going to be a massacre. I'm going to go with 2-1 to Liverpool.
I've got a chance of scoring at least with Jason. Now then, on to the most revised team as of late, ever since they lost to City on penalties. Yeah, it all seems to turn around for Chelsea. They're at home to Wolves. I think Chelsea will do, as Dan likes to say, a professional job, despite Wolves enjoying playing these top six teams. But I think that Chelsea will just edge this, and I'm going to go 2-1 to Chelsea. Dan?
Yeah, I mean, in the reverse fixture, Wolves beat Chelsea 2-1. And obviously Chelsea won last night against Dynamo Kiev in the Europa League. I think, Wolves, as we said before in this podcast, they like playing against the top six teams and like counter-attacking. I'm going to go 1-1.
And Jason?
I'm going to go with a Chelsea 2, Wolves 1, and with Higuain hopefully getting in on a goal.
Of course, yeah. Me and you bringing in Hazard and Higuain last week paid off. Did Hazard and Higuain get a full rest last night? I'm pretty sure they did, didn't they?
I think so, yeah.
Did they
I know Hudson played. So I think Chelsea rotated a little bit. So
They didn't come on at any point during the game, no?
I don't know. I mean, we'll put that to chat if anyone knows whether they had a part in the game. After watching Arsenal last night, I didn't want to watch any more football, so I didn't watch the game.
What a link that is into the FPL podcast derby. It's Arsenal at home to Man United. Arsenal, despite last night's result, which 3-1. When you look at it, you're like, whoa. I know Dan will be able to tell us more about it, but you think, wow, that's extraordinary. But I don't know what it is about Arsenal. They're just terrible away from home. But at home, you're excellent. And I think you've won 8 in a row. Is that correct, Dan, at the Emirates?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think this is going to be another tight game. Despite United winning 3-1 or 3-2 in the FA Cup, Dan?
3-1.
3-1, right? So, despite that, I think that I'm going 1-1, but it wouldn't surprise me if United did end up winning 3-1 again, repeat the score. But because of your home record in the Premier League, I'm going to go sit on the fence. I'm going to go 1-1. But yeah, Dan, tell us, from an FPL perspective, so to speak, worrying times for Arsenal fans, or just the fact it's Europa League and you should be able to do them in the return leg, whenever it is, I think next week or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, basically what happened was he took the lead away, we got the goal, and then Socrates got sent off. After he got sent off, the free kick was deflected and they smashed it in on the rebound into the top corner. And then Rennes were just so up. Their fans were just like electric. They were really up for it. It was a proper old school European tie. And then at 2-1, you're thinking it's all right. And then at 3-1, it's like the confidence. I mean, Aubameyang, I'm not surprised that he's the most transferred out player, because last week missing the penalty and then getting subbed with 15 minutes left to play when it's 2-1. And you could just see him on the bench. And I was there watching thinking, if Unai Emery is going to keep doing things like this, is Aubameyang going to want to stay? Because his confidence at the moment, I don't know. The only good thing about Sunday, obviously, is that Lacazette can come back in, but Torreira is suspended for that game, so it's going to be a real negative. United have got a good record against us, really have. The last time we beat them was, I think, like the season before last, and Danny Welbeck scored. So we need United players to score against United. Oh man, 2-1 Arsenal.
Jason, United after that phenomenal victory in Paris.
If you think this is going to end up in an Arsenal win, you've not been paying attention for the last few months. There is something special going on at United at the moment, and we are getting results. We are performing really well. We've got the attacking ethos back. Arsenal's defence have been creaky, arguably still is quite creaky, and Lukaku's starting to score goals that we wouldn't have thought imaginable at the start of the season. So I think Manchester United are going to do one on Arsenal. I think they're going to absolutely destroy them. I think it's going to be 4-1 to Manchester United.
We'll see about that, mate.
All right, and we can talk about it. Talk about loyalties aside. Just on the fact that Arsenal are, you mentioned it yourself, they're on a bit of a low. Morale is low. Aubameyang, there's obviously, you don't know how he's going to respond. He didn't look very happy midweek or last night. From the highlights I watched, he looked pretty dejected, didn't have much involvement in the game. It all depends if they can kind of rally themselves and up themselves. But Man United are just absolutely on a massive high. They're on an absolute. They're riding a tidal wave of joy and jubilation at the moment. Nobody thought that they could pull it off against PSG. They played it with half the team was a reserve team, and they got lucky with the. I'm gonna say they got lucky with the VAR penalty because that wouldn't have been spotted in the Premier League, in my opinion. No referee would have spotted that. VAR come to the rescue. Was it a soft penalty? Yes, it was a soft penalty. With handball, you're always going to get contentions about. But anyway, without going into that, it doesn't matter. They're through now. And it just seems like this vibe is just continuing. And I just honestly think that this game is going to be another win. And 4-1.
I think, if you're looking at the European Championships next summer, I think United could win that as well, the way they're going, even though they're not an international team. They're just... No, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I'll take my hat off to United. Fair play, beating PSG 3-1. Rashford having the balls to take the penalty and smash it in. Yeah, mattered. Fair play to Fred and McTominay for turning their seasons round as well. They played really well. Yeah. I like Solskjaer. I'm not going to lie. He's done well, and he's obviously got United. He's got United DNA in him, and he's getting the players playing, attacking, and doing well. I've still got Pogba, and I won't be taking him out. I mean, I've said 2-1 to Arsenal, but I wouldn't be putting any money on it. I'm just saying that to keep face a little bit. Yeah. But no, I mean, the thing with United against Arsenal, we know what's going to happen is United just going to counter us. They do it all the time, and they've got that physical dominance as well. Although we've got a few bruises, but then we've had 3 sending offs in the last month or so we've got to watch that. But yeah, it should be an entertaining game anyway. Yeah,
it will be an entertaining game. I'm very much looking forward to it, and there's normally goals in that game, so that leads us to conclude our predictions for Gameweek 30. A lot of people responding in chat to my prediction and to the Arsenal United game, and a lot of people talking in general in chat. It's been a really active chat, so I just want to say thank you to everyone that's tuned in tonight. We've got FPL Penguin in chat. We've got Mick Lee, House Music. I don't know if you're new. Are you new to the channel, House Music? I don't know if I've seen you before. Welcome. We've got Gunners for Glory. I wonder who he supports. Vince Champman and a few others. But we're going to say now that we're going to probably move on to the next part of the podcast where we... maybe I should read a few of the comments out. Maybe guys, if you've got any... Get
the guys involved.
If you guys got any questions, feel free to pose some questions. Here, we're happy to discuss anything FPL. So we got so FPL Boone are talking about Arsenal with Aubameyang again knocking his confidence, getting sub for Kolasinac of all people. It's a weird substitution. Mick Lee says, I totally agree. Arsenal are terrible at the back. You never know what Arsenal will turn up. Says Gunners. It's been like that for 7 years. Yeah. But we can all agree Arsenal Fan TV is always entertaining watch. We got Simon Bellamy in chat. Big Man United fan. Almost. Saying it was never a penalty. Yeah, I mean, I said it was a soft penalty. I mean, the thing is, just to touch on it, because I know it's not Premier League, but how many times have we seen players jump with their arms out and in the box, and it touches their arm or their elbow or whatever, and the referee just doesn't give it because of the distance away from the shot. The thing is that because the player was, I would say, a little bit further away, I think that probably tipped the decision. If I can't remember his name now, poor guy, poor guy. But if he had been a meter closer to Dalot when Dalot shot, I think it possibly may. But then the rules are kind of different now. It's like if you make your body bigger, then I just think that defenders are going to have to watch out. Next season with VAR, there's going to be a lot more penalties.
He's going to have to do the old Carvalho where he gets his arms around his back all the time whenever he's defending the cross.
There's going to be a ton of penalties next season. I think the meta for next season is going to be owning like penalty takers.
James Milner.
Yeah. So Milivojevic and that. So we got Kimpembe. That's it, Kimpembe. Yeah, I feel so sorry for the guy. I must admit, as a United fan, it was good of Lukaku to go over to him and give him like a cuddle because he must have felt awful. Does using a free hit chip block you from getting the extra free transfer the next game? Yes, it does. Brett Mollison, it does block you. Welcome to the channel, Jordan Booman as well. Welcome. Jordan says in chat, Arsenal needs Socrates in defence. Do not be surprised if Arsenal look solid on Sunday with him marking Lukaku out the game. Yeah, Socrates is a good defender. He obviously had a bit of hot head against Rennes, but he is generally a good defender. I do rate him, but I just think that Koscielny's, he's a bit slower now with Rashford and Lukaku, which I think will both start. There's a lot of pace up front for United, and it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting how Arsenal set up. If they run a high line, they're screwed. Put it that way. Vince Chapman in chat saying after the pen, we still have 4 minutes extra time to play. I know it was absolutely nerve-wracking going back to that game. Arioki in chat, it was a clear penalty. Yeah. So again, this is mixed. Like there's people that are like it wasn't a penalty, and there's people like it was a penalty. So even with VAR, it's still up for discussion.
Yes.
So FPL Penguin got Vardy, Batshuayi, and Aguero up front for my team this game week. Vardy is a player that I'm personally looking at getting in. I think he's a great pick. Aguero's a great pick. Not sure about Batshuayi. Could do something. Not bad lineup. But I'm certainly thinking of moving out Jimenez though. Even though I've got value in him, I don't want to, but I just want to change things up a little bit. So yeah, any other comments? Fully rested Pogba versus no Torreira should win the midfield battle. Yes, says Sultan Saeed. A very good point. Very good point. Yes, he should have been sent off in the first half. When do each of you three plan to use your triple captain? Right. Interestingly, I don't have my triple captain. I played it a few game weeks ago. Game week 20. I can't remember what game week it was now. The last double game week. I played it with Aguero, but I don't talk about it much. But so we've got Steve-O and Dan still got their triple captain. When are you planning on playing it, Dan?
I mean, one of the double game weeks coming up. The usual contenders: Aguero. If I have Hazard in at any one point, it could be the second double game week. I'm not sure, but I'm just looking at the typical thing of like Aguero at home to Cardiff or something like that, an opportune fixture. But there is still Salah at home to Huddersfield late on in the season, even because when you obviously Aguero got the hat-trick against Arsenal in that one game week, but in the second part of the double game week away to Everton, we get the points. So there is that argument that for an opportune fixture like Salah at home to Huddersfield, if he gets back to form, you can amass points just in that one single game week, so not worry about the game week.
Sorry, before you say anything, there's an actual thread. I was reading a thread on Reddit that was saying leave your triple captain to game week 38. And I don't know how serious that was, but a lot of people were entertaining that idea. But anyway, Steve-O, carry on with what your point was. Sorry.
Just to answer that point, the idea behind that is the fact that game week 38 contains, give or take, the most goals within one round of fixtures. So you get random players scoring hat tricks. One off the top of our head that we all know about, Lukaku versus West Brom. Lukaku for West Brom versus United. But point we're standing is that's the general idea, and it kind of makes sense. And just to answer your question, it was game week 25, Jason.
Yeah, Jordan Booman in chat also said game week 25. Yeah, I thought it was game week 25. I was like 80% confident, but then I didn't want to say it just in case I was wrong, and it'd be like, you can't remember when you played your triple captain. It wasn't that long ago. But now I'm old now, so I don't remember what I did last week. So just forgive me, chat. Forgive me.
I find it interesting, like from a chip perspective, what we've used, because me and you've used your triple captain, but you've also used your free hit. Is that right?
Yes, I used my free hit on an absolute pointless game week. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So you are two chips down, and you've got 2 chips left. So the wild card, and what's the other one? I forget. Bench boost.
Correct.
Bench boost.
Whereas I've got triple captain, and wild card and bench boost. Dan's got all of them. So Dan's kind of in a really, really good position here, where he could really take advantage of, really doing some basic research into when we find out when the double game weeks are and stuff. And I'm telling you now, for me, in answer to, sorry, I forget the person's name who asked, but for me, triple captain, I'm seriously contemplating triple captain in Lukaku in game week 32. I just think his form is absolutely sublime at the moment. He's got a hat trick of 2 goals in the last 3, obviously. I just can't see past Lukaku, and he is certainly somebody that I'm probably going to do a sideways switch, get rid of Rashford and bring in Lukaku. That's my kind of plan. I'm kind of sacking off blank game week 31. I really just don't care about it, to be honest with you.
What makes you think that? What makes you think Lukaku's going to outscore Rashford come the close of the season?
Because it's not that; it's just his form. As you know, I go with form at the moment, and as it stands, Rashford isn't getting the same points that Lukaku is, and it seems to be no coincidence that since Lukaku's returned to form, when did he come back? So it was 2 games a week. So against Crystal Palace, wasn't it? Game week 28. Is that right for Lukaku?
Yeah.
When he came back, he scored 2. So he scored 2. Rashford only played 13 minutes, fair enough. And then the following game week against Southampton at home, he played a full 90. He got absolutely nothing. And then, obviously, in the Champions League the other night, am I right in saying
he would have got an assist if Pogba had scored it.
Yeah, and so he
but yeah,
assist.
Yeah.
The point being is that I can see Lukaku outscoring Rashford in the next 2. In the next 8, just whatever we got left. So, and it's one of those where it's a differential for me. Even though Rashford is a differential on top of you, I think that for me, Lukaku, as an overall perspective, is a major differential to help me a bit further up in the ranks.
Yeah, I see that.
Because,
I understand, yeah.
Obviously, Pogba is somebody that's going to be taking the penalties, so Rashford won't be taking the penalty when if Pogba's still on the pitch and whatnot. So yeah, I personally am seriously considering triple captaining Lukaku in the double game week 32, or I believe Chelsea and Man City, if it's confirmed that they get double game week 32. I'll tell you what, I don't know what chip to use, either my wild card or my triple captain, because I think I'm probably going to use wild card and throw in triple Chelsea, triple City, and triple. Well, I've already got triple United.
You're going to bench boost. You get a bench boost for that?
No, because I won't have enough players.
Right.
I'd have to wild card in blank game week 31.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said you were going to wild card that. Okay, if Man City. Okay.
Yeah, I'd wild card in 32.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't be able to bench boost because you'd have wild card that week. Yeah, so you wouldn't prepare. You wouldn't wild card 31 to prepare for 32. You would wild card.
No. So it's. I'll tell you, going back to what you said, going full circle, what you said at the start of the podcast regarding this is a really interesting period in the world of FPL. This, like I said, this specific game week coming up is critical for just holding level with you, if I'm honest with you. If I can just break even and come out of this game week thinking I haven't lost much ground on you, maybe saying we break even, or maybe I'm just a few points less off, I'd be happy with that. So long, I'm stating the bloody obvious, but so long as my captain comes through, I'll be relatively happy. Based on the fact that I reckon you probably will captain either Sterling or Salah. And obviously my differential, I'm almost certainly going to be captaining Aguero. So it's going to be one of those where if I come out of this okay, then going into blank game week 31, I've got 2 free transfers and I can just get rid of, say, Son for whoever and potentially, depending on the news, what we get, maybe bringing in Lukaku, maybe taking a -4. I don't know. We'll get onto that. But in the biggest long-winded way of answering a question for somebody who went to triple captain for us, yeah, I'm potentially going double game week 32. But Dan, you haven't spoken for a bit. I was just wondering, what are your... So number one, you've got 7 blank game week players for the following set of fixtures.
Yeah.
But any thought processes regarding your team selection this week, your captaincy options, any transfers you're thinking of doing?
Yeah, I mean, I've still got Trent Alexander-Arnold and I've got Salah, so it will be I think it would be quite a wise move to get another Liverpool player in with the game against Burnley and then the game against Fulham the following week. But gut instinct is game week 31, like you say, I'm not particularly excited about it. If I can have 8 players playing for game week 31, I'd be quite happy with that. I think it's later on that, you're going to be able to take advantage with the chips that I've got on the wild card. But that's just, this, as Jason said at the start of the pod, this part of the season is when it gets really interesting and quite unpredictable as well when we find out about the double game weeks and everyone starts making their moves. Everyone's like holding their cards to their chest and it all comes out and then we see all these crazy triple captaining and everything else. So I think for this particular game week, yeah, maybe like 1 or 2 transfers, but Vardy at home to Fulham is a very, very tempting one. He's a player in form. It's Brendan Rodgers' first home game for Leicester City as the new manager. Fulham's defence is leaky, so that's a very interesting one. It's just, I think I've said this in previous podcasts, it's when you hold on to players, like when you hold on to Jimenez I've had Jimenez for so long and he's done pretty well for me, but you've got to know when to ditch the players and when to jump onto the next thing and get ahead of the curve, or not ahead of the curve, but
just
on your form.
I'm just looking at your team, Dan, and let's just say you wanted to get... The only way you could do it as a straight swap would be to get rid of the Aguero. Well, you ain't going to get rid of it. So the only other way you would be able to get Vardy in is really to get rid of either Son, Anderson, and obviously Rondon, or Jimenez. But I would, if I was in your shoes, I'd Jimenez. Get rid of Rondon. It'd be one of those 2 midfielders and Rondon, and bringing in obviously Vardy. Maybe even captaining him, like you just said, and whoever you bring in midfield. But yeah, your team is, like I said to you last week, it's very difficult for you to do straight swaps to certain players. Like you couldn't even do, for instance, I'm just looking at it now. You wouldn't even be able to do. I don't know what you've got Doherty in at. Do you know how much Doherty is worth in your team right now? Like his actual selling price, do you know? Would he be 5.2, 5?
I think it will be 5.2. Yeah, I've had him in since my wild card in. I think it was game week 14, game week 15. So I've obviously amassed quite value in him.
You wouldn't even be able to swap him out for Robertson as an example. You couldn't even do a straight swap. So whatever player you're thinking of bringing in, it requires a hit, another hit.
Yeah, there's a lot of value tied up in the midfield, but with Anderson, Son, Pogba, and Salah. So that is tricky. And it's hard because to take Anderson out when they've got Cardiff away, you can just see it again. I'll take Anderson out, and then he gets 2 goals and assist, or performs well, and then it's here we go again. Taking out a player out of form. It's the whole form versus fixtures debate that we always have. So it's a tough one, but as we keep saying every week, got to start taking some risks. Got to start, hedging my bets a little bit. So who knows? I think, but yeah, just with those 2 fixtures for Liverpool, though, Burnley and Fulham, I got TAA, got Salah. It would be nice to get another Liverpool asset in the team somewhere.
What are you actually... have you actually had a genuine thought process as to where you utilise your actual chips? Because, like I said, you've got 4 available.
You're breaking up a little bit for me, Steve. And your camera's gone small, which means it's a bandwidth issue. I don't know if you could improve your internet at all.
Ironically, my thing isn't loading up, so I'll just turn my PlayStation 4 off and do anything.
maybe updating a game or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know what it is. Every time I use the PlayStation 4 and use Skype, it just everything slows to the point. On the PlayStation 4 just slows to the point of non-existent. But yeah, Dan, I'm sure you can hear me. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, your plans on utilising your chips.
Well, yeah, obviously we're waiting for the information to be confirmed on the double game weeks. As things stand, I'm not planning to free hit in game week 31, although I've got the option there to do so. But yeah, I could possibly free hit in game week 32 and then wildcard game week 34. But like you said, this whole thing within the FPL community about the strategy using your chips and the whole double game week, there's so many different options, and it's quite. I think I'm going to have to look at Kremlin's spreadsheet because there's so much information out there. But everything.
Kremlin.
Where's this bloody name? I don't care. I don't care. You guys are knee deep in this scene. I mean, I sorry if the guy's watching, but the guy with the magic spreadsheet that everyone seems to have. But yeah, that's trying to throw me off what I was saying. Game week 31, looking at the teams within it, I don't see it as being massively important to have 11 players. And onwards from then, yeah, Man City, Chelsea players would be key to get in, particularly for the wild card. And then it's just a question of the triple captain, which is so important for me. That's where you can amass quite a lot of points and catch up. So be interesting to hear what people in the chat are saying about their strategy with their chips, what they think as to how they're going to move forward as well. Jason?
I think you hit the nail on the head, actually, if I'm honest with you. If I was in your position, I would absolutely free hit 32, because I reckon it looks like it's going to be a big double game. I would then wild card in 33 or 34, whatever, building up to the next double game week in 35, I think it is. And then maybe, if you're really planning ahead, you can actually use that triple captain in that game week 35 game week. Or it'd be down to you whether you use your bench boost or not. But I think that triple captain is certainly worth using in the double game week myself. I mean, Jason, we haven't come to you yet. You're doing absolutely...
So, sorry, it's quite off-putting. Because it's weird because your connection's dropped a little bit. Now you've gone blue. You look a bit like a Smurf. It's gone from Kremlin to Gremlins. I think Gremlins in your internet. So yeah, I actually quite amusing. Actually, you're getting smaller and smaller for all of us who are watching. But yeah, to talk to you about my team, because I've already made this sort of subconscious decision to bring in Vardy this week, which would mean getting rid of Raul Jimenez, who has served me amazingly as of late. So it's a very bittersweet. Well, it's kind of one of those where I don't know if I want to necessarily say goodbye to Raul, but anyway, Vardy going forward. What was that, Dan?
It's emotional when you got to say goodbye to players. Like,
it is, yeah. I'm still holding on to Salah, even though a lot of people in chat are saying that I should. They're actually in chat. Somebody said in chat. Let me have a look back. Who's saying to you to offload Salah, suggesting that you do offload Salah. Who was that? John Harris. John Harris in chat saying, get rid of Salah, Dan. It's liberating. Trust me, you'll feel great. We've got a couple of. We've got Matt Henley in chat talking about Lukaku. Still out this Rashford Lukaku debate that we kind of kicked off. We've got Seb Fox in chat. It depends on Ollie's preferred formation, whether Lukaku goes to the right, Rashford down the middle, Martial on the left. But the thing is, he is in golden form at the moment. He can push Rashford onto the wing as well. So it all depends. It all depends on the against Arsenal. I wouldn't be surprised if we played Lukaku down the middle. So yeah, I'm the same with Anderson, says Mick Lee. Yeah, Felipe Anderson. This is a player that's obviously been a big bit of a disappointment as of late. Still owns, underperformed, underdelivered. Owned by a fair few managers, especially obviously with the blank game week coming up. He's playing in. Hopefully, he can reward these loyal FPL managers that have held on to him for so long. Even Arnautovic. I think he owes owners a few goals. Paul Wickett's in chat saying, I need a green arrow this week. We've got a lot in common, Paul. I need a green arrow too. But it's really hard to get a green arrow in the top 500.
Say that I'm just looking at the Elite FPL Mini League, and I can't believe that I'm only 18 points off Jack Gleeson. I think that's crazy for me. And from Paul Wickett, I'm only 14 points off Paul Wickett. So I just can't believe like these players, which we mentioned near the beginning of our podcast mini league, how far ahead they were and how quickly I've caught them. It's like, wow. And then, in fact, I was looking at, bizarrely, I was looking at my cup opponent that I went out to. And last week, he got 90, he played his free hit chip. He got 99 points, right? His overall game week rank was 999,000. How random is that? So weird.
Paul Wickett's
the chances of that actually happening.
Paul Wickett in chat's actually reminding us that he still has all his chips as well. So, you know.
Brilliant.
Very good,
brilliant.
Paul. Very good. I mean, it's going to be a tough to defend the top of. Yeah, it's going to be tough to hold you guys all off. Put it that way.
But yeah, we haven't actually mentioned captaincy options here. Dan, who are you going to be captaining this particular game week?
Either Anderson or Son, I think.
Son.
just testing you. No, I think. You know, the funny thing is, I'm joking about it, and then one of them will go mad. At the moment, I'm thinking either Salah or Aguero, edging towards Aguero. Depends on my transfers as well tonight.
Well, yeah. How about you, Steve? Who are you going to pick? Aguero, right?
It's on Aguero, but I'm going to be waiting on what Pep Guardiola. Although Pep Guardiola has already come out and said, everybody's fit.
Yeah, he hasn't said anything.
Injuries like Kevin.
Yeah, he hasn't said anything about Jesus or Aguero. Nothing about it.
So my vice captain, not that it makes any difference, is Mane. Could I switch to his being captain? Maybe. There is this deep thing saying to me that Trent Alexander-Arnold captain. There's just something about it. I won't do it. I'm going to follow the crowd. Be a sheep. Go with Aguero. He's a differential on you, and I think that captain and Trent Alexander-Arnold would be absolutely. It would be amazing to do. It would be absolutely amazing if I had the bottle to do it. But yeah, it's the fact that I'm doing so well, and I want to, like I said, break even and don't want to risk it. But I'm gonna go with Aguero. What are your captaincy thoughts, Jason? Being so high up.
It's on Sterling at the moment. It could change. Who knows? In fact, while we got this subject up, I'm going to do the transfer now. I'm going to do my transfer now. So,
or is this some sort of double bluff?
Goodbye to good old Jimenez. Hello, Jamie Vardy. Welcome to my team. There we go. Wow. Jamie Vardy now to get injured in the warm-up against Fulham tomorrow.
I know it won't happen. I know he'll almost certainly start, but you're not worried at the fact that he was taken off with a head injury, had some stitches and everything.
No, he's
not starting.
No, he's been confirmed to be fit to start. So, yeah, not my issue. No issues on that. I think he's going to be good. He's going to be a good captain choice, I think, as well this week. For those of you who are maybe willing to do some maverick risk moves and going away from the crowd, I think Vardy is a good option.
So moving forward, then you've then got
John Harris in chat is like, Vardy was my differential on you. Sorry, John. Sorry, CEO.
No, it's just saying that you've now got 9 blank game week players playing now.
Yeah.
And I think that this is why I'm advising you this, but I think that's enough. I don't think you need to transfer next week, and I think taking 2 transfers in game week 32, depending on chip strategy, could be the way forward for you. I just think that like I said to you last week, I think 8 minimum for this blank game week is a maximum of 10 if you're desperate. But I think people going out their way to get 11 players out for a -10.
Yeah, but then I've
12.
still got Bennett and stinking up my bench, and I've got the small issue of having. Let me just find out exactly how much it is now. Still an outrageous amount of money probably in the bank. So, and it does, and it's I think it's going to be down to it's okay. It's 1.9 now. It's more respectable. It's 1.9 in the bank. So, I could definitely still look at doing a Bennett transfer to someone. So.
I'm surprised looking at your team. You didn't get rid of. Well, I know he's got a blank, but getting rid of Ron, I just think.
Rondon? No, I've already just got him in. I can't get rid of him.
I just look at him and just think he's a load of rubbish. But that's just again.
Chat. I'm gonna ask chat some advice now because I'm a great believer of getting the knowledge and willpower of the majority of people that are tuning in. Guys, do you think I should do a -4? Or
yes.
Or next week? Actually, next week, not a -4 this week. Do you think next week I should do Bennett to David Luiz?
That's an obvious answer.
No, it's fine. No, or should I save the transfer and go with what Steve-O says and go with 9 players? Let's see what chat says. I've got an idea what chat says.
Looking ahead of it, I mean, they've got Everton away. That's going to be really, really tough. I can see Chelsea conceding there for sure. I think the way Everton seem to have turned around their form at the moment suggests that actually that's going to be a really, really tough. And Dan, am I right in saying that the replay of, the second leg of the Europa League fixtures is next week? Is that right?
I believe so, yes. Seems to be a week between the Europa first leg and second leg.
Right, so Chelsea will be having a. I don't even know why I'm helping you out here. You're a rival, mate. What am I doing? So, I think unless there's nothing in the chat to ask us, Jason, I think Dan wrap things all up, and so yeah.
I think you're already wrapped up, aren't you?
Yeah, I think Steve-O's sorry for the technical difficulties during the podcast. Is there any final thoughts in chat?
Son to Hazard, I'm 0.2 off of doing Son.
Yeah, I want.
What happens if I bring in Bednarek's 4 million now? Oh my god, I didn't even know that.
Always been 4 million.
I thought it was 3.9. I thought it was 3.9.
Maybe somebody should be keeping an eye on those price rises.
I haven't. Yeah, I know. I've just maybe Stankovic. Stankovic is stinking at my team. That I can afford that now. Simpson for Bournemouth. Yeah, could do that. What's this fixtures like? Oh, Bournemouth, baby. That's you're right. Thank you for that bit of advice, Arioki. But that I could do that. I could go Simpson. That's looking nice for next week. So do the -4. So next Steve-O's like, what's that? What's this? So next week going Son to Hazard and then Bennett to Simpson. I can do that. But anyway, there we go.
But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps things up for this particular podcast. If you've joined us in the chat, thanks for joining us. If you're watching on the replay, give us a comment, like, subscribe if you've enjoyed the content, and also feel free to connect with us on Instagram and Twitter at Elite FPL. We obviously post on there, talk about what we're going to do in the next podcast, and feel free to reach out to us on those social media platforms. So good luck with Game Week 30, and be brave with your transfers, be brave with your captaincy pick. I'm sure I will be as well, and look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Take care, guys. Don't worry, I won't do any transfers without consulting you guys first. Don't worry. Bye now.